Hello, salutations. What it do? It's Sadot the Gamer, all father of Durag Gang. Know the vibes, like, subscribe, let's get it. Welcome to another edition of Super News. Happy Saturday. What's up, chat? What's up, all my future viewers? How's everyone doing? Hope you're well. Today we got another awesome edition of Super News. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about Hogwarts Legacy. We're going to talk about GTA 6. We're going to talk about some little Avengers, and this has been a interesting week in gaming. Definitely looking forward to diving into it. Shout out to today's sponsor, of course, Fan Dominion. Definitely check them out. Links are in the description, and use code SADOT for 10% off your order. Another way to support the channel, and of course, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and we can get right into the video. What's up chat? What's up, Aqua? What's up? How's everyone doing? All right, first we'll get into the Hogwarts Legacy story, because I'm very much interested, call myself invested really, because we need this to work. I need this to work. After Suicide Squad potentially got delayed, I need some good news, and we might have some. So there was talk that Hogwarts Legacy was potentially going to get delayed, but Warner Brothers has come out and said that Hogwarts Legacy will be out this year along with Gotham Knights. And we got this latest story. It was just revealed that the art and making of Hogwarts Legacy is currently set to be released on the 6th of September. Now, that is a very interesting date. The book will be authored by Jody Revenson, who's worked on various other Hogwarts tie-in projects like Harry Potter Papercraft. Interesting that the making of art book could potentially be coming out around the same time as the actual game. I think that seems pretty reasonable. You wouldn't want to release the making of a game if the game was not coming out that year or around that same time. So, not complete confirmation yet about when Hogwarts Legacy will be out, but seems like a pretty reasonable assumption, I would say. They're still saying they did say it's coming out this year. This is technically after the new Hogwarts movie is coming out, the next in the Fantastic Beasts series, and it's far enough away that it's reasonable to assume they could make this date. So I would say, yes, sometime in September seems like the most likely landing date for Hogwarts Legacy, which makes it one of my most anticipated games of the year, along with Gotham Knights, as well as, of course, Horizon, which comes out later this month. But the other one was going to be Suicide Squad. However, that may not be possible. So here's the deal with Suicide Squad. A bunch of you probably saw there was a report from Bloomberg that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was not going to be out this year like we originally thought, and what they originally announced. As they said, it was going to be delayed until 2023. Now, obviously that was devastating, and it was widely reported. I was hoping that it would be debunked. Warner Brothers has not come out officially, unfortunately, but there was some hope, because people were looking at this job posting for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, if you read this, it says, as we're gearing up to release Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League later this year, we've opened up lots of brand new positions to help finish this super exciting title off. We currently have around 50 open positions across all our disciplines. So if you're a senior engineer looking for your next move or a graduate artist looking for your first break into industry, we almost definitely got an open role for you. So on the one hand, we have Bloomberg and pretty much every major outlet reporting that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been quietly pushed to 2023. On the other hand, we have this job posting that says they expect it to be out this year, but they're hiring staff to finish it. But WB Games also said that Hogwarts Legacy and of course Gotham Knights would definitely be out this year when they made their post about their 2022 plans, but they did not include Suicide Squad in that. On top of that, if you look at this listing, they have 50 open positions to fill for this game. That seems like a lot, especially if they're expecting it to come out sometime this year. So I would say the plan could be that they still wanted to be out by 2022, but the fact that WB has not come out and countered the report from Bloomberg is making me skeptical that they'll be able to make this deadline, even if they maybe internally some people still think that it's going to be a thing. But sounds like there's still a lot of work to be done on this game. So even if it does manage to make it out by 2022, I'm thinking it'll be like December maybe, in which case I think more than likely we get an early 2023 release, maybe January or February, rather than it making it 2022. That's also a good point, Another Star. That may have crept in at the turn of 2022. Exactly. So it's been reported everywhere. Bloomberg, IGN, everybody said the game is quietly being delayed until 2023. So that would have been a great time for WB Games to be like, no. That's not true. Just a rumor. We are still on track for 2022. So if they haven't come out, so until they come out and say it, we have to assume that currently Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not on track for that 2022 release, which is sad, but hopefully that means early 2023 and we don't have to wait that long. But yeah, count me in the skeptical category. I don't think it's coming out this year. But speaking of games that came out, Dying Light 2 dropped officially everywhere yesterday. And after polling my chat, I ended up breaking down and buying Dying Light 2 on stream. And I ended up playing it for a couple hours. Had some fun. Aqua was shilling for it the whole time. And I was mainly playing it just to see if it was good, and so I can play some co-op with Aqua because that sounded fun. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. If you were on the stream, you saw that the co-op function on Dying Light 2 was broken. Even after I rebooted the game, played around with the settings, it was not working. Turns out a lot of things were not working with Dying Light 2 on launch day, even after the day one patch. This is from IGN. Players on social media are currently reporting network disconnects, co-op problems, and other online issues, leading developer Techland to put out a statement saying that addressing these problems are at the quote top of our list. In a statement echoed by Dying Light's official Twitter account, a Techland rep told IGN, "Thank you to gamers for your feedback. Disconnects in co-op mode and problems with redeeming rewards, codes, and other in-game content, including Twitch drops from Techland GG, are at the top of our priority list. Our team is on it. We will update you with progress." Now, unfortunately, as you should all know by now, many games do not release finished. You know, games come out, they're still full price, but they're still not done. So Techland dropped a day one patch where they said they were fixing over 1,000 bugs and it made the game run smoother. But obviously, still more work needs to be done, especially when it comes to multiplayer these days. So they are at the very least communicating and apparently on top of it. So we'll have to see when they do the next patch. I'll be trying out maybe some Dying Light during the members only gaming session later today, to see if I can get the co-op to work this time. Otherwise, probably going to have to wait for a patch in order to get it to work. But the game did do well. I heard that it broke well over 200,000 concurrents on Steam, which is one of the biggest debuts of all time for a game. So the game was popular. People were playing it. It so far has not been a cyberpunk situation. You know, the game is still mostly playable from what I can tell and in my personal experience, but definitely keep it in performance mode. And we'll have to see when the multiplayer actually works, just how potentially good the game will be, because the story is not all that good, but the parkour is very fun. So they do have something there. Probably one of the biggest stories of the week for sure was the reveal that finally Rockstar has confirmed GTA 6 is going to be a thing. We finally got it, guys. Rockstar officially came out and said it. The popularity and profitability of GTA 5's online component has meant that there's been an unusually long wait for a sequel. The game originally released for the PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2013, over 8 years ago. In contrast, GTA 5 released a little over 5 years after 2008's GTA 4. With the unprecedented longevity of GTA 5, we know many of you have been asking us about a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. Rockstar writes, "With every new project we embark on, our goal is always to significantly move beyond what we have previously delivered." And they have officially come out and confirmed that they are actually going to work on GTA 6. With every new project, our goal is to move significantly forward. We're pleased to confirm that active development for the next entry in the series is underway. So we got GTA 6 coming. I'm sure the release date will be like 2027 or something. 2028 maybe, but it's coming. GTA is coming, so look out for that. Probably the biggest news of the week was that Sony, in its ongoing war with Xbox and Microsoft, spent a lot of money to buy Bungie, and they spent 1.2 billion just to keep the Destiny 2 devs from leaving, which is pretty crazy. We have the story here from Kotaku. When Sony revealed its surprise $3.6 billion deal to buy Bungie, it was clear the PS5's manufacturer was paying a premium for the original creators of Halo and now Destiny 2. And we found out that a third of the price tag was just for Bungie's developer, which is insane. The approximately $1.2 billion will be paid out over several years, with an estimated 2/3 to be paid within the first 2 years following the acquisition's official closing date. Sony is paying for the people as much as for Destiny 2. To put that number in perspective, Sony paid $229 million for Spider-Man maker Insomniac Games as recently as 2019. While Bungie has more than doubled the number of employees at 900 people, 1.2 billion still comes out to over $1 million per developer. Though obviously some folks at Bungie will get much more while others will be paid much less. This is part of Sony's seemingly long-term plan for live service games. During its recent investor presentation, Sony also announced the ambitious goals of releasing 10 live service games in the next 4 years and doubling first-party game revenue by 2025. Sheesh. Now, there are some Bungie employees that apparently aren't completely thrilled at the idea of this deal. Someone described it as essentially golden handcuffs. It seems designed to, quote, retain folks for at least a couple years. But I guess Sony really wants to make sure that all the best minds are on deck at Bungie, because 10 live service games in 4 years is a lot. that is a lot. that is, so they're definitely going to, Sony is definitely going to need all the Bungie devs they can get if they plan on making 10 live service games in only 4 years. But still, paying over $1 billion just to keep the developers at Bungie from leaving. Wow. Looking forward to that Destiny exclusive, that Destiny 3 PlayStation and PC exclusive. Oh man. And finally, we got some Marvel's Avengers news. Big Marvel's Avengers news. It's double resource weekend. That's right. Double resources. From the 3rd to the 7th, you get double the amount of resources you normally would, including units. So if you are low on units and you're trying to get that new Iron Man 3 MCU skin and you don't want to cheat in order to get it, you want to earn it the old-fashioned way, you can just take advantage of the double resources weekend. I hear the Desert Vault and the Snowy Tundra are the best ways to farm units. If you get all the unit chests on Challenge 4 difficulty, you're clearing like 1,000 units per run. So there you go. I mean that's pretty much, that's literally all the Marvel's Avengers news this week. I wish I had more Marvel's Avengers news, but that's pretty much it for Marvel's Avengers. Though we could talk about this Casual Avengers here. We could talk about his video. Casual Avenger recently made a new video. Definitely check out his channel if you haven't already, where he was talking about a developer call he had just to kind of clear up some of the rumors around Marvel's Avengers. Appreciate that, Aqua. And essentially they confirm that the Greg Miller prediction was just a prediction and that the game is not shutting down in September. Though if it was, they would not tell you that, especially on a Discord call. I will say that right now. Johnny Rocker just made a Twitter post talking about how he was in the VIP creator Discord. That's basically what we call the Avengers Illuminati, where certain content creators with Marvel's Avengers have access to the devs that everyone else doesn't have. On those channels, they get, early access to information, and they get to talk to the devs, and they often are fighting on behalf of the players in order to get changes to the game. Unfortunately, those talks usually go absolutely nowhere, because despite the fact that the devs publicly say that they are often, they're so open to feedback, they want your feedback, They love that feedback. Give them that feedback. They don't actually care about your feedback. The only thing as long as you know the skin sales are coming, as long as you come in on Thursday, pick yourself up that latest skin, they don't really care about your feedback. They have an idea of what they want with the game, the direction they want to go in. They are committed to doing things a certain way, and it doesn't matter what the players want. We're just not going to get it. So if you're hoping for, you know, changes to time gating, if you're hoping for something, you know, like just literally just an expansion for the gear upgrading, probably not going to happen. That's just what it is. The game seems to just be kind of in stasis. You know, there's nothing really on the horizon. We know they're still apparently working on getting out the content, but they still will not confirm what's going on with the roadmap. We don't know when She-Hulk is dropping, so it is a mess. How do you think time gating will affect patrol mode? That's a great question, Casual. Definitely drop any questions you have in the chat. This is a live discussion portion. I personally don't think patrol mode is going to make it out this year. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think that patrol mode is gonna make it, because the biggest thing with patrol mode is not even necessarily going to be the time gating. It's going to be join in progress. Like, time gating is a whole nother animal, but they definitely made it very clear time gating is something that they are committed to. They're not going to change it, no matter how much we ask for it. When will we get the roadmap? Soon. Soon. I'm not sure how much it would affect patrol mode. Obviously, it would be stupid on levels that I can't even comprehend if they made patrol mode time gated. But I can't exactly rule out the possibility of them having time gated mission chains to patrol mode. It would literally defeat the entire purpose. I'm not sure they didn't even get far enough to talk about exactly what even the reward structure would be in patrol mode. The only thing I remember Phil talking about in terms of patrol mode was some kind of mission chain that will allow you to earn credits, not units, actual credits. So that would be something, if they, assuming that they're not going back on that and just completely scrapping it, that would be something to patrol mode that would be time gated, rather than being able to farm credits, which obviously is not a good idea from a business perspective. They would have a mission chain where you would be able to play the patrol mode and earn credits. Time gating patrol mode is something only CD. Yeah, I would literally be stunned if all the rewards in patrol mode are like, you could literally only accessible on Thursday. I would give up. I would give up. I mean, there's like Brian knows better. Like, Brian legitimately knows better. Like, he's from Marvel Heroes. I'm having a hard time. Because the reason why I'm not that skeptical about them ruining patrol mode like that is they really only made it because of feedback. Like, they had a whole thread where they put in the subreddit, what are all your ideas? We're doing patrol mode because you guys want it. What are all your ideas? Put them down here. Yes, Jay, GTA 6 was confirmed. I have a really hard time thinking that they would make what they would make patrol mode something you could only do on Thursday. Like that would be insane. Even for them. Rewards for patrol mode, 500 units and 1,000 fragments. Time gating leaving, so you're not coming back. Aqua doesn't care about time gating. He cares about She-Hulk and Captain Marvel and skins. Brian got recent promotion, so he might have a bit more creative control going forward. Yeah, so hopefully that works to the benefit of the game rather than to the detriment. But I really have a hard time believing they would do that to patrol mode. My main concern is joining progress. Feels like they're reactive on features via request rather than preemptive from looking at every other looter live service. That's true, but like I said, the fact that we went through this whole patrol mode where they literally built it up based on player feedback, I have a hard time believing they would go back on it. Also, they said they are doing patrol mode because we want it. The way hell comes out now. Yeah, all of you may not remember this, but it was a whole thing. Yeah, they announced they were doing patrol mode based on player feedback. Phil set up a subreddit where everybody could submit their ideas, and Phil would go through and comment on stuff, you know, say what's feasible, what they can do, and he gave some ideas about the direction they were thinking they were headed, but obviously it got delayed because no join in progress. But I don't think I think if they have like a mission chain, like I said, if they actually do that idea Phil said about having a mission chain where you can earn credits, I think that'll be, you know, a once per week thing, or maybe a once per month thing. Knowing them, that'll be tied to patrol mode. But overall, I think it'll be a thing. But I'm not even sure it'll come out. You think if they sold season passes for cosmetics like the MCU season pass or Halloween season pass where you get exclusive skins per tiers, would be more profitable? Definitely. I think the season pass, I think the challenge card model that they launched the game with was not good from a developer perspective. There's a reason why games like Fortnite are so successful with that similar battle pass model, because it works. The gamers feel like they're being rewarded for their time, and the developers and the publishers have a steady stream of income coming every single month from this feature. So there were a lot of ways they could have maximized profitability at the very beginning that they just did. Yeah, that was definitely one of the bigger problems with the game, beyond just obviously the bugs, the delays, all that contributed for sure. But the monetization really is where they dropped the ball as well. They really didn't know how to monetize the game well. Personally, you would have been fine with bigger hero expansions that had to pay $10 or $15 for. Exactly. Yeah, like the game. So the way it should have gone was the game should have launched free to play, straight up. The game should have been free to play from day one, and they should have said, okay, free to play, battle passes, and the DLCs will cost X amount of money. They should have had emotes selling for like $3, but the emote should have been actually good, and there should have been an emote wheel. They should have had, in addition to emotes, they should have been selling custom landing emotes rather than just the normal ones as well, so that when you leave the Quinjet, when you're doing your hero landing from the Quinjet, they should have had customizable landings for all of your heroes that you can buy on top of the normal emotes. That would have been another way to make money. They should have had MCU skins from day one of it. They should have had at least one out there. They should have been doing more comic book skins. There are so many more ways they could have made a lot of money at launch, even if the game was not in the most stable condition, and they just didn't. They had such a great idea with challenge cards and threw them away immediately. Didn't even think of selling more. They didn't even have a challenge card prestige system to replace content drops. Exactly. Exactly that. So like, you had the initial challenge cards for the heroes, but you could complete them all for free, and there wasn't really an incentive to buy the whole things out. And then once those cards are done, I mean, that's it. So you're just waiting months for the next hero to drop. In the meantime, the challenge cards are just sitting there. It should have just been one, battle pass thing. Have to see if different positions responsibility does anything. After all, Phil has always been Warzone director. Well, he couldn't direct a proper horrible. They can do that still, would not be paid to win or nothing. They could add. So yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what their plans or directions are, even when it comes to the marketplace, because it feels like everything is just the same. Like, it's like they're just status quo. They're just like, oh, okay, well, this is basically what the game's going to be, and we're just kind of shuffling along. When they're going to give us new enemy types and new interesting objectives, complete missions. So the new interesting objectives, I don't think are ever coming, because they literally said they were going to start doing that, and they didn't. So, they said, oh yeah, War for Wakanda, Hawkeye is going to be, you're not going to be doing the same objectives over and over again. And sure enough, as soon as those came out, you're doing the same objectives. You're standing in circles. you're standing on platforms. It's the same crap over and over again. At least they had new enemy types with the War for Wakanda and the raid expansion. But it's just a matter of waiting for more content. Let me be real, it's not hard to one up Anthem. Feels like they gave up. Yeah, it definitely feels like they're winding down. That's the best way I could describe it. This doesn't sound like a company, just from the stuff I'm hearing, this doesn't sound like a company that's ramping up for a big comeback in a year that's stacked full of games that can compete with them and overshadow them. Just kind of feels like they're just shuffling along just to finish, because they're contractually obligated to. If you get Ultron, OLT, and Yelena plus She-Hulk, you're lucky. I mean, yeah, because I don't even think the Ultron thing is going to be an OLT. When I was talking to Miller about it, he said he wasn't quite sure which it would be, but it could either be a villain sector or an OLT. I would hope an OLT, but I mean, who knows? Let's be honest, the first new Tomb Raider was the best. They really didn't do that great on the other ones. See, I wouldn't know. Like, I know the last one was not well received, but I mean, they look cool enough. Is Winter Soldier leaning toward the not going to happen side? It's unclear. I mean, right now, technically, everything is leaning towards the not going to happen side. We don't know. Captain Marvel seems like the most likely cut, based on the fact that that's supposed to be an expansion. And I know they've put in a lot of work on She-Hulk and Winter Soldier, but I haven't heard that there's been an equivalent amount put towards Captain Marvel. So it's possible she doesn't make it in time for 2022. But we literally just don't know. Like we don't know what the roadmap situation is. They won't even confirm. You're most excited for Ant-Man and Wasp and Doctor Strange, but oh yeah, yeah, ain't happening. You need to do a video on how to level up on Ghost of Tsushima. How to level up. I definitely can't do it. Yeah, I definitely can't do a video on that. The game's been out too long. No one's gonna watch that video. I could literally you could literally just play with us, or I could just tell you the best way to level up if you're talking about Legends mode. I mean, literally just play survival. You'll level up very fast. Play survival and use the new technique system they added, which lets you speed up leveling up even more. The only people who did their jobs right were the 3D modelers and the combat team. That's weird. Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's not, I mean, the voice actors too. I mean, they paid top dollar for some really great voice acting talent. Maybe too much, but the voice acting was great. The writing, I think the story writing was solid. Though the idea to build the entire campaign around Kamala, and then the cut to the Thor side story that was supposed to be in a reassemble campaign, definitely not good looks. Do you think Avengers is a lost cause at this point? If not, what game modes do you think can save it? Yeah, I do. So the problem with Avengers is that it can improve. It can definitely improve. There are ways to improve it, but the devs aren't interested in any of those ways. Like, they can't do that much because the foundation engine, the engine literally powering this game, is not designed for multiplayer. So that's why they're having so many technical problems. So there's really nothing they can do to fix that at this point. They should have used a better engine, but there's nothing you can do about that now. So within the then there's also the fact that they're supporting previous gen consoles. They can't abandon those because there's not enough new gen consoles because of all the chip shortages. So they can't afford to just abandon previous gen because that'll be a significant hit to their player base. So they're kind of stuck. So at this point, the only way to improve the game is through content. You know, content features within those limitations. You know, adding new game mode like the Horde mode that people thought they were going to come out with, that people wanted them to come out with, that they ended up not doing. Patrol mode, if done right. More villain sectors, more OLTs, better loot. There was actually an interesting conversation I had with Johnny Rocker about whether or not they should just abandon loot altogether. What's up, Umber and Soul? Doing good, just doing this news show. Stream was pretty fun last night. Incredible Harry really frustrated with this game. Ultron's never coming. It would have came if the game picked up after Black Panther or even Spider-Man. Despite help, you don't think they will drop anything? Yo, so Miller. So if they don't abandon the game, if it's not shut down, and they still end up putting out stuff, then then it'll probably follow along with what Miller told me. Assuming like everything is still on track, they're just being, you know, silent for crystal dynamic reasons, which would mean, according to him, She-Hulk, Ultron, Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel, and secret character, which Yelena. So I don't know. I'm on record saying I don't think Patrol mode is going to be a thing. I don't think they're going to get out in time, but at the very least, She-Hulk, Yelena, Ultron, Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel as the finale. And Ultron sooner rather than later, according to Miller. But obviously, all of that goes out the window if the plug got pulled, and they're just waiting to tell us. So I don't know. But if it doesn't get pulled, then that's what you should be looking for, which would be a solid year. Miller is the most famous leaker in the Marvel's Avengers community. He is a content creator who's currently streaming on Twitch every day, 24/7. So definitely pop over there. But Miller with 8 M's, very famous in the community. He provided data mine leaks, which allowed us to essentially have a full roadmap of what was coming to Marvel's Avengers before they even put out their first roadmap. People often credit him for maintaining their interest in the game during droughts. His most recent leak was about the mystery character, but before that, he got the voice actress for She-Hulk to confirm that she is the voice actress for She-Hulk. They were damned from the beginning by using the foundation for sure. You're talking about no. Whenever I talk about Miller, I'm talking about Miller, not Greg. I'll just call, if I'm talking about Greg Miller, I'll just call him Greg. But yeah, Johnny Rocker and me were talking about whether or not it would be a good idea to just kind of pick a side. Like, there are obviously a lot of issues with the gear system. This is just not up to the standards of what a looter should be. But they do have this, nice system of skills. So the question was, would it be better if they either went in, kept trying to improve the gear system, make it work for everybody, or if they should just abandon gear altogether and kind of build up around skill-based system rather than gear. So have the champion system actually boost your stats in a way that matters and remove the cap on it. And then when you're upgrading, instead of it being all about gear, it's about unlocking new skills and abilities. You could even use perks that previously were on gear as skills that you can unlock, rather than it just being tied to a gear perk. Then they can add new stuff like the ability for Captain America to use Mjolnir or something like that. I think that could be potentially something. What's up, Big B? But that those are things that, I mean, it's nice to theorize about, but from what I can tell, Alex is just focused on gear, and that's that. So were the bugs bad for Dying Light 2? Yeah. I mean, the game was smooth from a gameplay standpoint. I didn't run into really any bugs in that regard, but co-op was broken. I was trying to play with Aqua and it wasn't happening. You like the gear, kind of feels useless sometimes, but because lack of difficulty plus some stats effects are insanely broken. Yeah, I said the gear, there are ways they can make the gear system better, but are they ever going to do it? Because the things that we want that other looters have that would make the system way better. I mean, we're almost at the 2-year mark, and there's still no recalibration, no reroll, and they know we want those features. They're just determined not to do it. There's still time gating, and even when you play the stuff, the reward system is still not proper. So it's like, we do it. And then if they do release something that's really good gear wise, they just nerf it into the ground to add artificial difficulty to the game. Like, so, like, you know, what are we doing? Like they don't know how to balance OP perks and weak gimmicky perks. Yeah, like the perk that they have right now, the one that I made a video about, where so they have these perks that you can get on any hero, where it essentially it gives you a 200% increase to your heroic charge rate under specific circumstances. So for example, Hawkeye can get 200% heroic charge increase under his overcharge. Spider-Man can get it while his ultimate is active, etc. But it says 2% and 3% on the perk, but it's actually over 200%. Now, in practice, it's very good. You can basically just loop your heroics forever. Apparently they didn't really test it because, you know, people start using it and it's like, or maybe it's a little too much. So we'll see how much they plan on nerfing it. But yeah, this is another example. Just use cryo. Exactly. No loadouts. They're also, of course, definitely planning on hitting damage buff. That's probably going to be a much more significant nerf. And there are definitely people who are supporting the idea of nerfing damage buff. And there are valid reasons. I will say that. As someone who plays multiple looters, the way the game is currently structured, it does incentivize you to basically only use the damage buff, and it kind of trivializes everything else because you have to really compete with that damage buff, or otherwise the piece is irrelevant. I think my internet briefly went down, but it should be back up. Vintage Design, that's what happened. I'm gonna do just jump stream. Just covered the big stories of the day. Now we're just talking now we're just chopping it up about Avengers, what's going on with it, how to potentially balance the perks, what nerfs to expect in the future. Like Outriders, for example, there's really no damage buff in Outriders. You know, there's not just this one way to play that completely trivializes, you know, everything else. You can have each class has very unique abilities that you build them each around, and they all come with unique armor and gear sets that benefit their specific class abilities. You could also modify your gear, of course. So with Avengers though, Alex has these ideas for new gear, but you know, like I'm playing Hawkeye. I think he's my highest character right now. And it's like, why am I using any of this raid gear on the range piece, for example, if I have the targeted buff and Tachyon Surge combination? You know, what's the point? There's really nothing stronger than it. So at that point it's either make something that's more broken than the Tachyon Surge and damage buff combo, that you're going to have to nerf later anyway, or just be like, okay, let's do something to the damage buff so we can make room for potentially better perks, which does seem reasonable depending on, you know, what they plan on doing. But the problem is they got to communicate it ahead of time, because if they do what they usually do and just damage buff and just remove damage buff without telling anybody until the patch, it's going to be a problem. I feel like damage buff trivializes other gear only when playing on normal difficulties, but when you play on brutal. You mean like in the elite raid or something, or the custom harm room? Because the custom harm room, like when I use my Hawkeye, the targeted buff and damage, the attack and surge and damage buff combo completely trivializes even the custom harm room to me. What I don't want them to do is remove damage buff just for the sake of artificial difficulty. What I'm worried is that they're going to not communicate it, they're going to nerf it, and they're going to time the nerf right when some new content is coming out to try to make it seem harder than it actually is. And they're not going to have a viable replacement for the damage buff in place. That's what I'm concerned about. Ultimately, it's about the reasons behind the nerf buff. On their side, it feels like it's just to stop people from beating content too fast rather than encouraging players to try. Exactly. Like the Rainbow Six Extraction devs, they said their philosophy is to not nerf players, but buff things because it's PvE, which is a smart strategy. Don't just nerf stuff because you think, because, you know, your ego took a hit because you thought the content you designed was going to be really hard and people are just trivializing it. That shouldn't be a motivation to nerf something. You should instead buff other skills and abilities so that people have a reason to try something else. He's adjusting gear the way he wants and not the way the players want. Exactly. That's my main concern. Like, if they want to explore doing something damage buff for, you know, balance reasons, that can be a conversation. But so far, all of the nerfs they've done, for the most part, haven't seemed to be in the interest of balance and buffing other perks. Because I mean, they really haven't been doing that. It's just been, okay, well, they're melting the super adapter too fast. They're one-shotting Abomination. They're one-shotting Taskmaster. You know, they're making it through the raid in 30 minutes. We gotta throw some nerfs down. Like that shouldn't be how you react. They could have attached a huge damage buff to intrinsic skills. Well, that's what they're going to, I mean, that's probably what they're going to do. Yeah, you're right. I know how a 60% damage increase and a 30% crit boost as a normal perk got past QA testing. Speaking things into existence. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They don't really play test that thoroughly. That's part of the problem. They don't play test that thoroughly. Because your Hawk build doesn't have a Tachyon Surge, so you kind of need a damage buff to deal significant damage when fighting brutal enemies. Yeah, that's right. As a perk you can get on epic gear. like it's not even, yeah, that's the thing. Like it's not even like they tied damage buff to like exotics. Like, oh, you have to get this specific exotic and only this exotic to get the damage buff. It's like, no, it's literally on you get it on purple, you get it on legendary, you get it on exotic. It just doesn't matter. they need to nerf enemy health to compensate in-game activities. So the problem with the enemies isn't necessarily the health, it's the artificial crap they put on top of it. Like one of the reasons Melee feels underpowered to people is because for some reason they decided that all enemies should basically be stagger resistant, and they should have passive shields. So like for prime example, if you're fighting the stiletto bot, if you punch the stiletto bot dead on, you're going to hit a shield. He's not blocking, he's not dodging. There's just a shield constantly around him that you have to punch through with a block breaking technique. They don't have to do that. There's no equivalent really for you. But if you're engaged in Melee, you can't have a real Melee encounter because you gotta make sure you're breaking the block first, which is an issue. It doesn't really incentivize a skilled Melee encounter. It just incentivizes you to cheese long range attacks or heroic. Strategy CDs using by nerfing stuff makes people afraid of posting their bills. Exactly. Like now people aren't doing comic books anymore. Like it's crazy. They say they take these options because it's the easiest. Can't imagine them looking at all fields and saying, okay, let's change the balance holistically to emphasize various playstyles. Yeah, that does not seem to be the strategy. The strategy CD is using by nerfing stuff makes some people. Yep. What do I think about NFTs? I think there. I have not dove deep into NFTs. From what the little bit I've seen, they just seem to be lazy cash grabs. But I do believe in the utility of blockchain technology. So I think the tech underlying NFTs could potentially be very useful for the future, especially in the gaming space. But I definitely think the response to NFTs when you go on social media seems to mainly be about people judging NFTs based on definitely a handful of obvious scammers rather than actual knowledge of NFTs and the pros and cons of it, which is typical of social media. They'll nerf damage buff and offer a piece later, similar but hard to get. Mark your words. Okay, they are marked. The strongest perks in the game were accidents, attack surge, and damage buff. Those shields are so stupid. Yep. There's reducing playtime. Apparently they're okay with that. They are just fine with us playing the game less, as long as everyone's coming on Thursday and buying those new skins. They're like, oh well, yeah, this is fine. As long as they're not hemorrhaging players actively playing. Obviously they're not concerned with interest in the game online. You know, the game recently was at 12 viewers on Twitch, but as long as apparently people are just playing on Thursdays, they're okay with that. Remember when Lost first announced? Crazy how long it's been. Everyone basically had one build that they re-equip all the time. Painful. Oh yeah, what was that? I mean, it was like August. They did the live stream and they were promoting Black Panther, and they did a whole stream about the loadouts. Remember dev streams? remember they used to have those? I wonder what happened. What happened to those? Remember the section of the blog that said in development? Remember when that was a thing? Or am I just hallucinating? Buy that skin though. Also follow me on Twitter. Did y'all see the tweet? Did y'all notice that I tweeted about this? The Hawkeye, the Rona Hawkeye it looks good, but in the video they posted to promote it's basically a commercial for the marketplace to come buy this Ronin skin. The arrow is the wrong color. the arrows with the suit are supposed to be gold tip. That's how they designed it. But when he does the arrow emote, it turns back purple. Nothing to announce at this time. This is a small but just kind of shows you how CD the Crystal Dynamics era, like, it's a commercial for a product that you're selling and you've got a bug in the commercial. How about the damage increase from the damage buff gets decreased depending on how many damage increases perks you have already, including heroes? Or how about the damage buff is just hero specific? How about it's just a skill or hero specific perk for a specific hero piece of gear? Remember when the CM was actually CM for a few months? Hoggers. I can't imagine. Yep, those basically will never exist for another vacation and a half. Can they also stop saying, can they please stop? I get that's the new talking point. They gotta have when they're dealing with the community, they have to have their, talking points, so that, they know what to say. But can we stop with we have nothing to announce at this time? It does not work as a reply to everything. Just generally don't get why Square is so greedy. How is Final Fantasy Online still without him? I can't see you take some inspiration from that game. So the issue with Square is that, so there's a couple of things that work here. So Square has a long and notable rivalry within itself. You have overseas Square, the Japanese studios. They don't really get along with the North American side. So that's part of the problem. And Square, in the case of Avengers, has been more hands-off, partly as a result of that. Like when they dropped Final Fantasy 14 and it was a disgrace, Square was like, okay, well, our reputation is on the line. We can't have this. So they got involved. They pulled everybody off that messed it up, and they committed to fixing it. They don't have that same faith in Marvel's Avengers because the Japanese side didn't make it. They gave it to Crystal Dynamics. It was over once Vince left. Would you take a 30% damage increase for a trade-off? 60% incoming damage? Absolutely. 30% damage increase for 6% income and damage increase. I mean, I think you could up that a little bit. Maybe a 40% damage increase. They fixed the patterns, bugs, cheat. Now there's an infinite fragments one. There's one for infinite fragments. Why would anyone need that? Fill his head of combat. Oh boy. I definitely cannot imagine. That's why Square is dog-ish. Nah, I definitely think they need to figure out this whole rivalry thing with the company, because I mean, Avengers definitely could have used some intervention. There was so much potential. It just feels like a waste. See, it needs to be bought by Sony or some other. No. So yeah, so CD was already bought by Square Enix. So the next shoe to drop would be potentially Sony coming in and buying Square. And then CD would technically be under Sony. Good thing Sony and Bungie collab. We need saving for this game. Imagine if they do a live service Marvel game with Bungie. That would be insane. There's always been that tension. Deus Ex, ever since they were under Square Enix, never got love. Same with Hitman. They ended up giving that back because they didn't care that much. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, politics is just a part of gaming, and we're the ones that usually pay for it. Unfortunately, as a result, you know, Avengers didn't get the attention and support it needed. You know, very early on in the development process, Square should have definitely been more hands-on to make sure that Crystal Dynamics was equipped to actually handle this project. And that didn't happen. They just like, okay, we're the money, you know, give us our product. And it did not work out. Also, did anyone hear about this Elizabeth Olsen nonsense? Twitter is apparently mad at Elizabeth Olsen because they're saying she's too white to play Wanda Maximoff. All of a sudden, I love how random Twitter is, bro. That's literally why Twitter. I always say Twitter is not real life. No sane person would ever be mad about this. Like, no one would in their right mind watch WandaVision, watch MCU Scarlet Witch and was like, you know what? I like that Elizabeth Olsen, but she is too white for this role of Wanda. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing here? All the problems in the world, and y'all mad about that. What's our Ronan? I just went over the news from this week. GTA 6, Hogwarts Legacy. Now we're chatting about Avengers, as we usually do at the end. The end of the show, not necessarily the end of Avengers, which could be coming. Unfortunately, Square Enix won't change. You think it's a culture thing in Japan? Yep, definitely a lot of pride over there. Going to get a multiplayer with the Sony treatment. Sir, you don't see a robot by March. Pack it up, guys. Yep, that was my prediction. Someone hack Square. Yeah, I definitely don't think things are looking or look good if we go March without a roadmap. What Twitter always needs something better. Yeah, legit. People are they're. So I saw remember the famous scene where from Avengers Endgame when all the female characters coincidentally landed at the same time in the same place in their hero poses, and it, someone was like, oh yeah, pretty much everyone in this photo is basically canceled now to some degree or controversial. Yeah, apparently they're mad because Elizabeth Olsen isn't Romanian, isn't naturally Romanian. She's an actress who was, pretending to be from Sarkovia, but she's not actually Sarkovian. So they're like, why didn't you get a Sarkovian actress to play Wanda Maximoff? You're whitewashing. Like, come on, bro. So it's so dumb. Then they were mad at Brie Larson because she tweeted something about NFTs. They're mad about Evangeline Lilly, who from Lost, who plays the Wasp, because she went to a anti-vax mandate protest. Then Letitia Wright, Shuri, she's had her drama. She's had all her drama. It's always so apparently that whole photo now. Then of course now they're mad at Wanda for being too white. So now basically they said that whole photo now is just problematic. It's just so funny. Twitter is dumb. She is too white to play this white Russian role. Yeah. Granted, these same people, if they saw a Romanian walking down the street, would 100% say that's a white person. And they would argue that they were white in literally any other context. but apparently now, because they want to be mad, they count as people of color and Elizabeth Olsen is too white to play her. Like, come on. Marvel, for some reason, decided to add that scene in the Marvel Studios intro. And Robert Downey Jr. doesn't have a real suit on. I know. It's like, what? What next? Are you going to tell me that Mark Ruffalo doesn't actually turn into a green rage monster? like I want realism in my films about superheroes. The actor that played Pietro don't have real white hair. Remove them. Woke culture and all these politics ruin everything. Bro, the best thing you can do with these people is to just don't listen to them. Like, don't concede an inch. Don't give them any room. Don't take them seriously. It's Twitter. It's not real. We're having a women empowerment. Now they're trying to cancel every actress. That's the thing. These people don't have standards. They don't have consistency. They don't have morals. They don't care. They're just like, okay, well, we got to be mad about something today. So we're going to yell about Elizabeth Olsen being too white to play this white character. Like, come on, bro. What are you really doing here? Now all the women and women empowerment scene from Endgame are apparently all canceled now. Except Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know what Gwyneth Paltrow did, but I guess she's controversial in some ways because of her weird store, her weird lifestyle brand. But imagine Imagine someone saying someone was too black to play a character. You would be shut down. Yeah. Or black, or not black enough, or more likely not black enough. Like if I don't know, like if they, for example, if they recast T'Challa and they had like Michael B. Jordan or someone a little lighter than him, imagine them saying, "Oh, he's not black enough," or "He's not African. He's not actually from Wakanda." But they're going to complain about Chris Hemsworth not being 1,500 years old. Or someone said Lizzie whitewashed the Wanda role because Wanda was supposed to be romantic. Yeah, they're probably some kids. Sadly, they're not. They are actual adults. They act like children. They have the emotional maturity of children, but these are very much grown people. Study finds that hearing an opposite viewpoint causes no real harm. According to them, it causes great harm and distress. You need to have, if you're on college campuses, you need to have a room provided by the school for you to break down and cry in whenever you want to, because life is hard and hearing opinions you don't like is violence. It's violence. Opinions I don't like are violence. Gwyneth has been terrible for ages. Oh, there you go. They people have hated her for Wanda's white AF in the comics. Correct. But they don't read comics. What do you mean? Ryan Gosling for new Black Panther. They should recast T'Challa as Sebastian Stan. Let's get White Panther going. She did have someone in her group company that said the Ronin ain't real. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's literally called Goop. Elizabeth Olsen's movie made you a Scarlet Witch simp. He is from Wakanda. Cancel. He's not literally. He is from New Jersey. He is not from Wakanda. Cancel. He is not black enough. And Haley, except for Elizabeth and Haley. But I don't send for currently any MCU ladies because the male gaze is toxic, and I'm not a misogynistic bigot like you are. Jav, how dare you? They need to be mad they haven't recast T'Challa. The whole recast T'Challa thing is that's very dumb too. Just recast him. Chadwick literally said, do it. His family literally said, do it. Like, it's not, there's no reason to not have the character in the MCU anymore. Just because the actor died. Like, that's not what he would have wanted. That's not what his family wants. It shouldn't even be a controversy. He's not actually Black Panther. He was a tremendous actor, an awesome human being, but the character has to live on. So let it. There are a lot of people who love Black Panther the character, who looked up to T'Challa. Why remove that completely? Out of what? For what? Is there anything? Just do it. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm like, if we had felt the same way about, if we had felt similar ways about Christopher Reeves, we would have literally never gotten another Superman movie ever. It's like, oh well, Christopher Reeves, he's the Superman, so can't have that. Thoughts on the new DC rumor, which one? You just want Spider-Man 2? Don't we all? Is there something new going on with the DC universe besides the usual controversy about racism and Black Superman and, and all this other stuff? And Henry Cavill apparently just on the way out to the MCU. The DCEU is pretty much a mess. It's very much a mess. And it's a shame because I love DC. But Marvel won. They beat them with the MCU. And they just have not done it. Make him Michael B through the multiverse. Yeah, I mean, you literally had it in What If. Just do it. You already did What If. You already established the multiverses is in a state of madness, if you will, because of the events of Loki. Just have someone else be Black Panther. You already have the narrative reason written in. Just do it. Yeah, I think the last thing I saw about the DCEU was they revealed the costume for Batgirl, for the new Batgirl movie. The costume looked terrible, but that's pretty much all I've heard about them lately. Why is this dude back? Michael Keaton will replace Batfleck, and Batgirl will be a new will be in the Batman. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, at this point, yeah, I'm not worried about the DC, the EU. I'm gonna see Black Adam. I'm gonna check out The Flash. Probably I'm gonna check out definitely not watching Aquaman 2, but I'll check out Shazam. But yeah, I just have no faith in DCU. Smart's approach just revived Killmonger, and now he wants to redeem himself by protecting Wakanda as Black Panther. Yeah, that seems fair. No, it's not a mess as long as the movies are dark and serious and mature. Feel some blood. That's a DC. Yeah, right. It's gotta be dark. Less saturation. Make it darker. So I will say Peacemaker is a very good show. They're at least doing a good job with that. But that's because they had to bring someone, James Gunn, from the MCU over to the DCEU to actually fix it. I think that's literally the best thing they've done in a while. They need to restart. Yeah, the problem is it has no really direction. Like, and if they do restart it at this point, I don't have faith that they're going to restart it for the better. So just watch Marvel. Just pirate those movies because you don't support the movie. I'm just not going to see the movies. It's really simple for me. Vote with your wallet, you know? Just don't support the stuff that you don't like. I don't support Aquaman 2, so I'm not going to buy a ticket for it. And I'm not going to stream it. I'm just going to pretend it's not a thing. What about Blue Beetle? I would love if they did Blue Beetle right. I would love if they did Static Shock right. I just don't think they're going to do any of those things right. I don't have faith in the DC extended universe. I just don't think I have faith in The Rock. So I think Black Adam will be great. Other than that, I don't even think The Flash is going to be good. To keep it all the way a buck. It is Stack Shock movie. They can make it. You love Peacemaker, so off the chain. Josh Cena is amazing. Yeah, when I heard they were making the show, I was like, I'll check it out. You know, James Gunn is a madman, but he knows what he's doing, and so it's very good. It's just plot twist after plot twist. Very good. I think WB needs to lose it, right? So, well, it will be curious. I am curious if Warner Brothers will end up selling DC, because, well, you know, both Marvel and DC, comic wise at least, are doing very poorly. Marvel is doing well because mainly because of the MC. That's basically all their revenue is coming from the MCU stuff. But DC is not having that same success. Did I hear about the rumor? Oh no, God no. None of these characters you mess with other than that, just Batman. I started out as a bigger DC fan. I like more DC characters. I love Batman. I tolerate Superman. He's still cool, you know. I like Green Arrow. I like Martian Manhunter. You know, I love the Flash. I like Shazam. I like the whole Land Corps. I love Wonder Woman. Like they have some great characters, but movie wise, the MCU just dusts them. They better not give her a show. Like they gotta use Marvel sloppy seconds. They need James Gunn for the new Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker show. Well, it didn't always work out for them. They did get Josh Whedon over there. That didn't work out. The Rock plays the same character in every movie. Well, yeah. Why would he have to play anything different? He's perfect. He's perfect. Why would you need to do anything else? Why would you mess with perfection? The Rock has literally no reason to play any other character. He could just show up and make $20 million. He doesn't need and everyone will see his movies and love it. There's literally no reason for him to do anything else but just be The Rock. So change the plot, the costumes, powers, whatever he's doing, the dialogue, but we're paying for The Rock. That's what we're paying for. We're paying for Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I have zero issue doing so. I've been doing it for years, and I will continue. Any news on Gotham Knight? The latest is that, well, not really that latest, that new, but yeah, still supposed to come out in 2022. No real update since Warner Brothers came out and confirmed Hogwarts Legacy and Gotham Knights are releasing this year. Hogwarts Legacy, I still have my doubts about, but they said it. So it seems to be on track. So hopefully the game works. But Gotham Knights, I think that seems reasonable. It was supposed to come out last year. We've seen a lot of it. We know what type of game it is. We've seen a lot of gameplay. If a game has a lot of gameplay at the very least, or some continuous gameplay, then I'm like, okay, it's probably not far off. Suicide Squad has literally 2 minutes, a 2-minute gameplay trailer. That's it, and and maybe of that 2-minute gameplay trailer, 30 seconds is like actual gameplay. So it being delayed isn't that much of a surprise. What I think about the original Suicide Squad versus 2021. Yeah, I thought the 2016 one was dog water. I thought it was a mess. I thought they had some stuff. I think the best part of that first one was Waller was good. Obviously, Margot Robbie is amazing, but the movie overall was pretty much a mess. You know, I like Will Smith, but it just was not a good movie. You know, it was disjointed.